Hey everyone, Ekman here with another video, and today we're going to go over my favorite deck to kind of end this format for the GDO1 meta of the Gundam card game. Is going to be a blue and purple Barbatos deck, thanks to Star Deck 5 as well. So we're going to go over like one of these over-the-head videos for it. I don't know if you guys prefer that or the ones where I have the deck list just on the screen the entire time. You will be able to find this deck list linked in the description though if you just want to see the 50 real quick. It's going to be on the team deck list page, and I'm going to keep updating this build probably maybe one or two more times throughout the next couple weeks, but we are kind of ending GDO1 and as we approach GDO2 as well. So a couple of things before we get started. First, if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe. We make a lot of content for the Gundam card game and I don't want you guys to miss it. Also, again, if you want to find this deck list or many others, you can find them on my website, Eggman Events. And this video is going to be broken up to just going over the 50 that I'm playing right now, some kind of tech cards and other cards I've kind of considered for the deck. And then we're going to have two games that you guys can watch as well. They're from the live stream for the Core TCG Los Angeles Regionals. There was one round where we just couldn't get a match on stream, so we had kind of an exhibition match. And honestly, I think they're some of the best games and funnest games I've had with this deck ever, and I'm really happy that we were able to capture them on camera. So make sure to check out the timestamps if you just want to see different parts of this video, and let's jump on into it. So for this 50, it is going to be a blue-purple Barbatos deck. Obviously, there's not that many purple cards that are viable right now, and I don't think this is necessarily like a unique build, but these are just kind of going over a couple cards that I'm playing right now. So real quick, starting us off, we've got 4 copies of the Gym. That shouldn't be surprising to literally anyone, and then also 3 copies of the Grays Custom. I think that you want to play a lot of these level 2 1-drops, especially since we're a little bit more of an aggressive deck. Also, I think that this is a deck that runs usually somewhere between 6 to 8 of these. So if you want to play, 7's kind of the sweet spot for me, but you can go up to 8 for sure if you want to make sure that you have a lot of aggressive starts for this deck. So I think that's really good for the deck. And we also do have 4 copies of the Gun Tank. This is definitely like a ping deck as well, and kind of an evolution of kind of like the blue and red ping, or at least a different way to do it with the introduction of purple cards, right? So Gun Tank has been a staple card in a lot of blue decks, and that's not going to be any difference for this one. You don't mind playing it out early if you don't have anything else to do, because it is, you know, pressuring 1 shield as long as I don't have a base, and that's kind of strong enough as it is. So again, I would say either you know, for the other 2 drops, you'd rather play, you know, 7 or 6 to 8. I think 7's the number for me, but I would not chastise anyone who went down to 6 or up to 8. So next card, we got our level 3s, and this is a card that I think I like a little bit more, or higher than average than a lot of people, but it is Gun Cannon. Ever since this card was released in the beta, I was just like, man, this card, it really does it all. It has repair 1, it has a way to rest something, it links with so many things because it's white based team trait. It's one of my favorite cards, so I'm playing it at the full 4. If you guys want to go down to 2 or 3, that's totally fine as well. I do think this is kind of a great add for this deck, especially with some of the pilots that we have, which we'll go over in a little bit. But I have won games due to the fact that this can very easily get a double rest on a lot of situations, or even like get some really good advantage in the early game, because even like if I can have, like, for example, in this deck, a Mikazuki pair with this card, the repair 1 means that you get the, you know, HP back. You can get some really good trades with it, and I've really not been really unhappy with this card. So I've been playing it at 4. If you want to play less of it, you can, but I think it's very strong in this current meta. And then we're only playing 3 copies of Rizal, and so this is a little bit of a decision for me. I know that with blue and purple, you technically can play like 8 copies of Rizal, since we do have the Hyakuren here that came out of Star Deck 5. I have been replacing with gun cannons and I haven't been too upset with it. I do recognize that Rizal trades really, really well into Gundam Ilfrith, which has been one of the staple cards in this game right now. So if you want to play more of these, go for it. I don't think that's an issue for it. And I do think that there is kind of a bit of a sweet spot for it. It does feel kind of bad though that it does have 3 HP due to, like, if you get to the late game, like against like a Wing Zero, it can be kind of issue heavy, but I do think it's a great card for sure. And then obviously if you go second, just being able to play this on turn 2 is really, really good. So if you want to bump these up more, you can go for it. I'm kind of using more cards with a little bit of effects, but I think 3 is like, you have to play this card. 3 is the minimum for sure, and I can kind of show off later how you can fit in a couple more copies if you want to kind of change up the build for it. So those are the level 3s here, and then we'll go to our level 4s. We're going to play 4 copies of Anksha. Again, Gun Tank is really good. So what if we had Gun Tank that was like level 2, or sorry, cost 2, and did the same thing with higher stats? This card's been really great. I have been thinking like sometimes I can go down to just 7 copies of it, or of the other ping cards as well. So we can take out 1 Anksha if you want to find room for something. I think 4 is the maximum that you can run, so you can definitely run 4. I think 2 would probably be the minimum. 3 is probably fine as well. 4, sometimes you do see it so often, but there's almost always a chance for you to get a ping damage somewhere to help you, you know, advance your board state and be in a good spot. So I think 3, if you want to go down to it, if you want to find room for something like Rizal, you can definitely do that. You can even take out like 1 Anksha and 1 gun cannon if you want to put 2 copies of Hakurin in as well. But again, like ping damage is so important for this deck, so finding additional ways to do so as well. So next up, we've got the Gundam Barbatos second form, and I've been really enjoying this card too. The fact that it is something that has 4 HP is fantastic. The way that it also has the link with the Mikazuki is fantastic too. The fact that this can attack 6 with the Mikazuki link and also do some incremental ping damage somewhere else, fantastic. So I've been liking this. Again, I would also say this is a card that if we want to, we could go down to 3 copies. I don't think it's a hard 4 of, but it is very strong in a lot of situations. And the biggest thing is that if you're playing against something like Wing Zero, and there are also just a lot of decks that 4 HP is pretty tricky to actually deal with. And so having another unit with this 4 HP is really strong. So I'd say 3 or 4 copies of this. You can maybe even go down to 2, but I've been really happy with these, and the fact that it also has a really good link is fantastic. So lastly, rounding out our level 4s, we do have our Gundams from the starter deck. This card is stupid good still. Obviously, the Amuro link with this just wins you a lot of games because of how easily you can get board pressure. Like the best start for this deck almost every time is turn 1 we play Gun Tank, and then turn 2 we play 2 or 3 more or 1 or 2 more bodies out, and the next turn we play Gundam. We get to get rid of whatever blocker they have in case that's relevant. We're able to use one of our 2 AP cards into a 3 AP card thanks to Gundam to get rid of the EX base, and you have like a bunch of advantage, and your opponent really has to answer your board or they're just going to be behind for the rest of the game. So clearly very good. I don't think you should play any less than 4 copies of this card. And then last we got Gundam Barbatos 4th form, and I'll be honest, 3 copies of this means that this is the only card right now, the 3rd copy of this, that you need with a second starter deck. So I do know that the starter decks are very difficult to come by close to MSP right now or not. So because of that, if you don't have a second starter deck, you can totally play just 2 of these, all right? I don't think that this is a deck that you need to play 3 of. I think that if you have access to it, you probably should. If you and your buddy were able to get 3 copies between the 2 of you, that means that you can both play a 3rd copy of it if you want to, but I'm playing 3 because I have access to 4 of them, but I do, again, recognize that. So you can still play this deck 100% if you're only playing 2. That means that you could have this turn into just an extra copy of Rizal if you need to, and I think that it is fine. The other cards that come in this deck, you do get enough of the ratios that you can get there without getting a second star deck, so I think that's fine for this one. But Barbatos is really, really great. The fact that it's very easy for this to bump up to, get your suppression effect is strong. I don't think like suppression is as good as people are saying it is, but it is still very strong. I would say that a lot of people, I think, overestimated it. I think I underestimated it a little bit, so we're kind of meeting in the middle. But being able to do 2 damage is fantastic in a game where we only have, 6 shields in this game. So there are ways to play around it, though. If they have a base or if they have a lot of blockers that you don't have any ways to deal with, this card can get blocked. But the fact that you do get to, just as long as your damage, which is very easy to do, get that effect. The fact also that there are some weird situations where, like, I have the Barbatos 2nd form out, and you play the 4th form out to bump up this to then get that additional power, and that gets you to 5 AP, which is good enough to get rid of most bases in this game. So everything that we have has 2 or more HP as well, so the ping effect from this, I always forget that it's a thing, but you can hit into a lot of this. And again, if you give it to stuff like Gun Cannon or Gundam, where they just heal the damage anyways with repair, you don't really feel it. So here are all the units that we're playing right now. I'm going to talk about a couple more in a minute, but we are, that we could tack in, but we're going to go over the rest of the cards in the deck real quick. So 4 copies of Amuro. I don't think that needs any explanation. This is secretly maybe one of the best cards in the game. It is very, very good. And you can also tell we're getting so many of these other effects that are like this with more conditions. So I think this has been a strong card. Like, when I read it, I'm like, just resting at 5 or less HP doesn't seem so good. It is incredibly good, especially in a deck like this one where you can do some ping damage and then being able to get some rest on things that weren't, healthily be able to get rested is really good. We also do have the Mikazuki August. I'm going to be honest, this card is the reason to play purple right now. It is fantastic. Obviously, Barbatos's, both of these are great, and Gray's custom's good, don't get me wrong, but the fact that you have a card that lets you just deal 1 damage to something on a pair is fantastic. I think a lot of other colors can also take advantage of this, like obviously purple-white, using it with like Ailstrike Gundam would be very good, but this card is just fantastic. And one of my favorite combos in this deck too is also using it with the Gun Cannon. There are some situations where you can link it with pair it with the Gun Cannon. You're able to get that 1 damage somewhere else on top of it, on the Gun Cannon, but then you can repair it if you're in a good spot. And you get like so many situations, especially if like there's something at 3 HP that you want rested. You can use Gun Cannon's effect to then rest something with 2 or less HP after you do 1 damage to it to bring it down to 2. So that's really, really great. It's why I like Gun Cannon in this deck so much, is because I think Mikazuki is secretly like a really good pair combo with it, and it's been really successful. So obviously the Barbatoses do very well with it too, and but there are just so many situations, like even again Gundam, this is just like a when paired effect. So putting Mikazuki in here, you don't get the rest for something, but this does go into a 6 AP, and the +1 AP across the board is also very, very good. So fantastic card, and it's been fantastic, and I'm happy you get 4 copies of it in the starter deck. So those are the pilots we're playing outright, but then we do have a couple bases. We've got 2 copies of Nail Orgama, which this card's been really surprising me about how good this can be. Being able to rest something that 3 or less HP is fantastic, especially when, again, we're able to do so much ping damage across the board, or it's very difficult for your opponent to have like healthy units all the time. This card can really put in a lot of work, and it's really to a point where I've thought about putting it back into, or not back into, but into the Cyber New type, because it can get a similar effect. Also, the on deploy effect is on both players' turns, so there are some weird times where this comes out of life, or sorry, comes out of shields. Not only do you get the shield, but then you also get to rest something that could have attacked that turn too. So really happy with this. And then you guys know that I love my Corsica base. If you're playing anything a little bit aggro edged, I think this is a fantastic card. Again, 4-2 on first place, and then you get to make some 1/1s on the next turn. Very good for those situations. So I've been happy with this one. So lastly, we've got 2 copies of 2 different commands. We've got Show Resolve. You got to play this card in blue. 1 to 3 copies, I think, is what you'd want for this deck. Being able to just kind of recycle your stuff is fantastic. And then my kind of spice add is the Thoroughly Damaged, and this has been honestly pretty good in a lot of situations. It is a command pilot. It's not like the most powerful card in the deck, but main, you get to choose 1 rested enemy and deal 1 damage to it. Sometimes you do just need that 1 extra damage, which is really good. The fact that it is something that you can pilot or put into any of our when paired, so there are some weird situations where I just need another pilot for Gundam, so I just put this in here, and then it gives the +1 to everything, which is really nice. And then it also does link with the Gun Cannon, so making this a 2/4, being able to make this like a link to be able to go for game sometimes has happened, and also get like the rest ability. It's been kind of nice at like 2 copies. So I recognize this is my spice ad. If you don't like this card, you do not have to play it, but I've been pretty happy with it, and this is what I've been playing. So I recommend trying it out if you guys haven't already. If you don't like the card, that's totally fine, but that's what I've been playing. So there is that one, and then we've got a couple of tech cards I wanted to kind of mention that can be put in this deck right now if you guys want to change it. And you know, obviously, I do think like Gundam is like a game where the deck lists are like living things. They kind of change throughout the week depending on what you're feeling and what you think you're going to be playing as the meta develops. But here's some cards that have been kind of on my mind. So we kind of mentioned this one already. We got the Hakurin here, just another copy of the Rizel. If we find room for playing more than 4 Rizels, then you can have this backup one. There's no issue. There's no like trait things that matter in this deck. So very good ad for that one as well. Some other units, I think that's actually pretty much it. I've also thought about like just the Gundam from the set. If you want to play the LR, you can. I think it's a little bit expensive, but being able to get repair on things and being able to get a draw for those situations when you pair with it is good. So it can do very well with obviously like a Mikazuki kind of pairing as well. But I think this Gundam's like the one from the Star deck is just better in most situations. So we do also have another pilot I've been thinking about. I really like this Salamass. I know that it doesn't really do that much. It just gives repair to something if your unit is blue, which most units in this deck is blue. It does also link with the Gun Cannon, so that's kind of nice. So if you don't like Thoroughly Damaged, you can maybe try out Salamass instead to get that additional ability. Obviously, you can also pair it with Gundam to get the +1 AP, so it turns into a 5 AP aggressively. So it's not a bad card, and like you can get that repair 1, which can make a difference when you're maybe even playing like the mirror match and you're doing all this damage to yourself as well. But it's an okay card. It is a white-based team, so you do get that benefit there. And then a couple commands I've been looking at. One that you guys are probably surprised that I'm not running, it is the Fatal Strike. I think this card is fine. It does pop like a level 3 or lower. I just feel like it does a little bit, it's a little bit too specific for it, but there are a lot of situations where a lot of the blockers in this game can get hit with this. So if you don't like the Thoroughly Damaged, you can definitely play this. And the burst effect can come up sometimes, so I think that is important. It's just like not my favorite card, and I would play it like maybe at 1 or 2 copies, but no more than that. I think 2 copies is the max I would play with Fatal Strike, but card is fine. I just don't have any, I don't think it's a mandatory card from my own testing right now. We also do have a couple of blue commands. So we've got Siege Ploy. And this card I think is pretty good for getting rid of like larger blockers. So like, you know, I think there is like a decision point, like, Do you want to like guarantee get rid of a small blocker, or do you want to like temporarily get rid of most blockers in the game, right? So if you want to have more resting abilities, or if you don't like Nail or Gamma and you want to play 4 Corsica base and you can put Siege Ploy instead, I think that's something that you can choose for your card choice. This is a card that I'm probably the only one who's put this card in a sleeve, but it's Sign of Revolution. It's kind of like a bigger version of Thoroughly Damaged in the sense that, one, it has the burst effect to draw 1, which is pretty good. I think that being able to get like a draw 1 in this game off burst is honestly very strong. But also main, choose 1 rested enemy unit, deal 2 damage. There's going to be a lot of situations where you're going to be able to rest things. It's kind of like a worse copy of either Close Combat or a worse copy of Battle of Aces, right? But when we can't play red, this is kind of the best choice that we have right now. So I've thought about it. I've used it every once in a while. That 2 damage is pretty great. The fact that it does have a burst too means that, Thoroughly Damaged, if it's in your shields, doesn't do anything, but it can have the potential to link with the gun cannon. So it's really up to you, but I think there is like a chance for that card to be kind of good. And lastly, Intercept Orders. This is kind of like a bigger version of, this is kind of like a combination of like Nail Gamma and Siege Ploy. If you want to main or action, you choose 1 to 2 enemy units with 3 or less HP and rest them. You're going to be doing so much incremental damage across the board that it's very easy to do like 1 damage to like an Ilfrith and then being able to get the rest too. There's a lot of situations where I see my opponent just has like doubles awards up, which this will be able to get rid of. And the main effect to just be able to choose 1 enemy unit with 5 or less HP to rest it is very good too. So if you like it better than Thoroughly Damage, I think Intercept Orders can definitely find a spot in this deck too. And it's definitely been a card that I've been considering as well. So those are kind of some additional cards for you guys as well. But I've been really happy with this deck. I've been having a lot of fun playing with it, and I do think it's really strong, even though we only have a couple purple cards that exist right now in this game. So that's the kind of spiel for it, and enjoy the 2 games that we've got with it.
We've got blue-purple on the side for Eggman. Looks like he's going to mulligan. We saw Amuro Ray in there as well. Oh, it looks like actually Ralph chose second in there. So getting that EX resource right, especially with the opportunities of something like Bird Mode to be able to get that extra EX resource. So fresh 5 cards for each player as we get into this game, putting out the shields, 6 shields, 6 shields. Say that 5 times fast, Chad. Each side. We go into this one. Eggman going first. Not really a turn 1 play, but has a pretty okay hand, it looks like. We see Hayato, I believe, is what the name is of that card in the hand. So now going on to Ralph. See if he has a 1-drop that he can play, right, in green-white, but passing off the turn. Going into Eggman, he's got a GM, one of his favorite cards, as well, double GM going in here. So can apply the pressure early, as we've seen on these purple-blue decks so far. But his Zwart coming down. The Zwart is going to be able to clear out one of these bodies if he goes ahead and tries to swing at the EX base. Is now at level 3, is going to go ahead, play his base right here to rest the Zwart. This is going to be able to clear the EX base right with both of these swings. So we'll see if he has another 1-drop to play. He does. He has a purple 1-drop. So now going back to Ralph's turn at level 4. Does have the desert base to be able to, that 6 HP base. Also has Launcher Strike. A lot of Launcher Strike today that we've seen from green-white players. That 3-4 body just so impactful, right? Especially in some of these Wing 0 decks where you can use Wing 0, put 3 damage. You don't have to risk losing the blocker similar to Lilfrith. So going ahead, doing a quick trade with the GM, just minimizing the amount of bodies on field right now. Eggman going ahead, playing the RX, the star of the show as we've seen, and going to get a pair right here, unconventional pair, just going to put 1 on each body. And now the GM swinging at shields, or attempting to swing at shields, right? The launcher still has 3 health, but doesn't want to take it. Is going to get a, I believe that's just a Wing 0 that was in life, the alternate art. So now Akira on that swing in that shield. Akira going to be nice to get into the hand for the later stages, right, of this green-white deck if he's got Ale Strike on this turn. But Eggman putting a nice position, did not want to swing, or actually couldn't swing with Gundam RX, apologies. Is going to go ahead, play that 6 HP base to start out the turn. Does find a Lilfrith, so Lilfrith is going to be able to be played off of here. Also has an overflowing affection if he wants to do a little bit of hand filtering, a little bit of searching. So is going to Kira onto this launcher and now swing the launcher into this one drop. Is going to take that knockout, -2 on that, so you don't take any damage for pretty much a free KO. Play the Lilfrith and pass, still has the EX resource out. Eggman going to go into 5 now, has a couple different options, right, as the gym restands. So is going to swing the Gundam RX right here. Does have to think about whether or not he wants to block with it or not, or let the base go. And it looks like just letting the base go right here as this gym swing the Lilfrith. Going to block, take out that gym, and put 2 damage on the Lilfrith. And Eggman just going to go a little bit slower return with the Show of Resolve. He does find another base in hand, but is going to be able to play that body out, deal 1 damage to the rested Lilfrith, and take it out. Oh, the GM actually swinging 3, my apologies. Yeah, dealing 3 damage to Lilfrith. That's the one thing I will say about Gundam that most everybody, including myself at times, does have to remember is that Gundam RX +1 on the pair. I feel like it's one of the easiest things to forget in the game. So good job, these players, being on top of that a little bit more. So is going to go ahead, take care of that. The Wing Gundam coming in with the hero is going to be nice because you're going to be able to take that knockout and clear the base, putting 3 damage on the Wing Gundam, passing off the turn. Looks like a pretty decent position for Ralph. But Eggman now at 6 is going to unlock level 6, going to be able to have some plays potentially. The Barbatos, I believe, in hand, and we're going to see the LR from the starter deck. Barbatos right here is going to be able to be played down on the field. Got the linked pair, is going to be able to deal that damage to the launcher and be able to clear it, and now swing at shields. Going to put Ralph down to 2. Does find, oh, the suppression, I'm sorry, yes. Dealing both at the same time, the hero going into the hand, and the gun tank is going to be able to deal an extra damage to the Wing Gundam. Passing off the turn over to Ralph. Going to get another turn. I don't think he's at Wing Gundam turn yet. But it looks like does have 2 Wing Gundams in hand, also 2 heroes. So is just going to do an overflowing affection, try to find maybe some bodies to be able to play out. Pitches the Sword Strike. He's got another Sword Strike in hand. It looks like another Lilfrith as well. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream. If you're wondering what's going on right now in this stream, we do have a little exhibition match going on in round 8 because of some difficulties with decks in the stream round that we had planned. So Eggman getting on the stream right now and giving you a fun game. So the Wing Gundam is going to clear that Barbatos and also do some breach damage, and now just setting up with the rest of his resources, 2 bodies on the field in the Lilfrith and the Sword Strike. Eggman still having 4 shields left within this game. Has a little gun tank right there. We see the base, the Corsica base, to be able to play out that 3-3, as it's the first one that we've seen. 3-3 going to be a nice body. So gun cannon, Eggman very high on gun cannon, and Amuro Ray so far in this tournament is going to allow the potential game. So the unforeseen incident going to be popping the EX resource is going to negate the gun tank swing, and now Eggman really having to think if he wants to swing this gun cannon right at the shields to put Ralph down to 0. Definitely a big pair that we've started to see in these blue decks that has been so impactful, right? Gun Cannon and Amuro Ray. The no base on Ralph's side for that shield. Just an overflowing affection to the bin. I will say a Wing 0 would take care of all this. Try to remember how much he's at. I actually think he's only at level 7 right now, so can't actually play Wing Zero. So not really a way to get rid of the 4-2 token on the field. As the Sword Strike, I believe, only gets that popping effect with the linked pair, so it's just going to crash into the gun cannon and play another one down in its place. Is going to go ahead, swing the Lilfrith into the body, leave up a bunch open, make Eggman wonder if he's got another unforeseen incident in hand right after taking care of the blocker. He's going to go ahead and swing. Nothing in there. Eggman going to be able to win the stream game with a blue-purple Barbatos. Did have the second form in hand as well. The Thoroughly Damaged. A very cool card. Yeah, no, the Ralph was at 7 because he popped the EX resource to use the unforeseen incident on the gun tank. So unfortunately not at 8 to be able to play Wing Zero. There's no way. It looks like they're playing a second game, actually. All right, so double treat for you all. Eggman going second in this game. I think just switching it off. So Eggman does look like he has the gym and keeping the hand. I saw gun cannon in there, gym. So it looks like Ralph doing a quick mulligan for game 2. Still haven't hit overtime yet in the main event. Again, this is an exhibition game because of some difficulties with the stream game that we had planned in this. So Eggman decided to pull out one of his decks and show you all how much he knows about the card game. So he is going to play that GM on his first turn, going second, and Zwart coming down for Ralph on his level 2. Eggman now at level 3. We'll see if he plays gun cannon or maybe another body on the field. He's just going to start out swinging 2 at the EX base. So he's going to play double body on here. And this is one of the highlights, I feel like, of blue-purple in this. Just being able to play out multiple of these one-drop 2-2 bodies is just so good for the early game. Just really puts on the early game pressure to your opponent to really respond to those. So Ralph going in with an overflowing affection, starting his level 3 turn, puts away a striker pack and plays out Lilfrith. Lilfrith just being a great body in white. So many decks playing this blocker. Now Jim going in and swing the 2 HP body. Lilfrith going in with the block. Deals 2 damage on the Lilfrith. And another Jim swing coming in is going to take that body. Or the EX base, sorry. So now the final swing of these 2-2s is going to go ahead, take the shield, not swinging with the, or not blocking with the Zwart. It's just going to go straight to the trash. Looks like a Freedom Gundam alternate. And the Aksha and the pair is going to get rid of Lilfrith while dealing 1 damage to their own body. Passing off the turn. 1 resource left open. Is going to go ahead with Sword Strike. We'll see if he's got a Kira combo. He does, and this is going to be nice because this is going to be a double removal on the field for Ralph. So is going to be swinging at the GM and bouncing back the purple one and passing off the turn. Definitely a nice one for Ralph. He's got to be able to stabilize, just clear these bodies off the field. So now Eggman swinging in. Should be, I believe, a 5-4 swing. So I don't think has any resources as active, but still has that sword blocker. Was swinging at the Sword Strike, so is just going to let that go again, just leaving Zwart up. And so Eggman playing out 2 bodies, the 2-2 that was bounced back to his hand earlier, and Gun Cannon. Only about 3 cards in hand, I believe, for him. Ralph sitting with card advantage, I believe about 6 cards in hand, is just going to play Launcher Strike and Lilfrith and pass off the turn. Plenty of blockers in this game to stop the different swings that are coming in. Is going to force potentially a pilot or something. The Barbatos going to be coming in, going to deal a damage to one of Eggman's units. Is going to buff up the 2-2, now being a 3-2 on the swing. The 3-2 is interesting, right? Because the Zword and the launcher both survive on the swings, but we see the pair, the purple pair for Eggman, that could deal the extra damage to Lilfrith to be able to take it out if he wants to. So it looks like he is going to play that pair, trying to bait one of the blocks from these 4 HPs. Looks like actually putting it on the launcher strike. Or actually, no, putting it on the Lilfrith to get the KO, now swinging at bases. Only 2 cards in hand, now utilizing the Zword to get that damage off. 3 damage onto the Barbatos, 4 damage in total on the 6 HP unit. So is going to go ahead, play the Desert base, nice 6 HP base, especially if he can get rid of this Barbatos right here. Could be very nice, and looks like he's going to crash into it. Just to clear it from the field, asking Eggman to have another pair or something to be able to clear that. But double blocker in Zword and Lilfrith, just going to be a pass on there, leaving 1 open. We know that Ralph plays Unforeseen Incident, so definitely something that Eggman is going to have to play. He's going to have another Barbatos out onto the field, deal a damage to Gun Cannon to give an extra HP boost, or AP boost, I'm sorry. So is going to go ahead and block in the Angsha again, dealing that final damage to the Lilfrith. 1 card in hand, 1 resource open, the EX resource. And we move into Ralph's next turn. It looks like he's at level 7 now. Doesn't really have a good pair with this hero, I feel like, but has an Ale Strike. So Ale Strike could be nice, but how much do you want to put the presumably Angsha back into Eggman's hand? Right, especially with that deploy effect, putting a damage on a rested unit. Wouldn't actually get too much value on this upcoming turn, right? As you have no rested units, you just got to be wary on the rest. Eggman top decking an Amuro Ray. So it looks like his hand is Amuro Ray, Angsha, and a Barbatos. So might just put the Barbatos out on the field to get a 5 swing. Definitely an interesting situation. Both players running out of cards in hand at this point. Eggman still no damage on his EX base yet. And if you're just joining us once again, just want to quickly say, exhibition match in this round. So Eggman getting on to show you guys a little bit of gameplay instead of just a crazy, instead of just 45 minutes of be right back. And so using that Amuro Ray on the Barbatos to rest the Zword is now going to be dealing 6 damage, I believe. So this, if Ralph decides not to block, would clear the base entirely, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Does not want to allow that Angsha in the hand that he knows Eggman has to deal an extra ping damage to it. I think he wanted a unit as well, but passes off the turn. Doesn't play the Barbatos, right? You want to save that deploy effect. So now Ralph going in, just playing another base right here. Basically a card draw. I think found another launcher or another Zword. It looks like a Zword in the hand. So it looks like the hand is Zword, hero, and another card. I think another smaller blocker. And so is going to swing the Ale Strike to finally clear the EX base. And so is just going to play double blocker. Lilfrith and Zword just put up a wall of defense. Eventually you'll draw into Wing Gundam, right? So Eggman now going to quick math level 9. Definitely has plenty of resources. Is going to swing the Barbatos here. 4-6. Zwart on the block, deals 3 damage. Did top deck a Rizel. So he's just going to play the combination of Angsha and Rizel to deal a damage to the Ale Strike. And we go into Ralph's next turn. And so swinging the Zwart at the Barbatos, just trying to clear that body off the field. Is playing the Lilfrith down to go ahead, swing at shields. I think he's got a Wing 0 in hand. And there's the Wing 0, clearing out those bodies and dealing 3 damage to his 2 other units on the field. Is just going to pass off the turn with 1 as active. Clearing the board entirely. We'll see how Eggman can respond. I think he has another Amuro Ray in hand. So we got a Barbatos and also a second form. So we have a 4th form LR and a second form in the hand. Oh, I would have loved to see the... well, actually, no, this play kind of makes sense. I was going to say that you want maybe the to play it in the reverse order, but if Ralph were to go back-to-back Wing 0s, it would destroy the second form. So I actually like that sequencing a bit more from Eggman. So now Ralph swinging the Wing 0 first. That 5-7 boss monster is going to play a Sword Strike just to get another body on the field, pass off the turn. 3 in hand. Eggman with 2 Amuros in the hand. Amuro's cool, but I don't think he gets you at a more winning position right now. And so it's just going to pair them both to rest both of the blockers on the field. And so is going to go ahead, clear the base. Second form is going to deal 4 damage, right, because there's no damage on him yet, but is going to swing into the Lilfrith to get the damage on it and says, you know what, if you got another Wing 0, you've got another Wing 0. Eggman running 6 Amuro. Yeah, we need a deck check on Eggman. We did not get one before this game for him. Ooh, but off of the first one is going to go ahead and get that base. And with that base, because the Ale Strike is 3 HP or less, is going to go ahead and rest it. So Ralph, not being able to go for game, in a sense, could just go ahead and swing the Wing 0 to be able to clear. But with the pair, is going to get an extra boost in power and swing, clear this body on the field to deal 6 damage onto it. Still is going to be alive with a little bit of HP. We see a gun tank in hand. I think the gun tank would get rid of the Ale Strike. So it's just going to trade into the Wing 0 right there to start out the turn, clear that body. Gun tank hitting the Ale Strike to clear it, and a second form in there. No cards in hand for Eggman. 1, now 2 in hand from the top deck on Ralph's side. Definitely a close game. So Ralph, it looks like, I think, got a Launcher Strike and a Wing 0 in hand. So the 4 is going to be dealt to the base. Is going to go ahead, play a launcher, pass off the turn. So Eggman now with the Rizel. Does have to think about his swings a little bit. The gun tank going in with 1 damage. Do you block? When do you block with the launcher? So is going to get that shield. No burst on the Hawk of Endymon, I believe it's called. Ale Strike in that one. Rizel off the top, passing off the turn. 1 life left, or 1 shield left for Ralph. 1 each side. Eggman having a base, though, with 1 HP left. Ralph has to decide how he wants to swing. I think going into there, get rid of that second form, is going to go ahead, play the Wing, will destroy his Sword Strike, but leave his Launcher Strike with 1 health left. And now the Launcher Strike clearing out the base, passing off the turn. Does Eggman with the 1 has a GM, and we'll see if Ralph now Gets a nice base trigger off this last one. It is not. Ralph getting the victory on that second game of exhibition.
Damn it.